former Harrier GR7 pilot with the Royal Air Force. And like all of the Royal Air Force's Harrier pilots, a man with several operational tours in Afghanistan under his belt. The pilots in Afghanistan provide close air support to the young men and women of the British Armed Forces, and of course the men and women of our coalition armed forces out there, who you know better than most people that they work in some very difficult circumstances in Afghanistan. Now Baz is not only a great pilot, it's his 5th year with the Red Arrows. He's a pretty good kite surfer, and it looks like a good day for it out there. He could quite happily be on the beach here, kite surfing at Blackpool. He did a fair amount of it while we were training in Cyprus earlier in the year, and he's reached a pretty reasonable standard as a kite surfer. Enough about him though. He's called the team now into Big Vixen formation. This is a wide formation and quite a difficult one for the pilots to fly, especially if you're out on the left or the right hand tip. And on the left hand tip of Big Vixen is Red 9, Flight Lieutenant Zane Sennett, and Zane is one of the 3rd year pilots on the team. So he's on the left wing tip as they start this roll, the Big Vixen roll. He's the lowest aircraft we see now, Zane. He's not only rolling to match the leader's angle of bank, he's back on the power, pitching forward, and using a lot of right rudder to maintain his formation position, a very difficult skill. Zane is an experienced pilot though, which is probably why he can do it so well. He served with 1 squadron on the Harrier Force and did 4 operational tours in Afghanistan. And he's also been a flying instructor on the Hawk at RAF Valley, North Wales. Zane is one of the team's 2 single men, and he's also the guy who puts the spear through our heart in the second half of the show. And if you like, he's the team's Cupid. Although we're getting pretty worried now because he really does seem to believe that he is Cupid. Okay, the team are now taking up shape in swan formation. You can see the 2 wings of the swan sliding down the neck to the back to make up this difficult shape. It's a long, wide formation and therefore challenging for the pilots. Generally it's accepted the further you are away from the leader, the more difficult it is to maintain your formation position. We keep the newer guys therefore closer in, and one of those, the first of the new pilots on the team this year, is just to the right of the neck of the swan, or just to the left as we look at them head on here, and that's Red 2, Flight Lieutenant Chris Lyndon Smith. So Smiley's just left of the neck of the swan. We call him Smiley. He was born in Kitwe, Zambia, but he grew up for the first 10 years of his life in South Africa, probably wrestling white rhinos in the Kruger National Park, I'd imagine. But he came back to the UK at the age of 1 and eventually graduated from College in Norfolk and joined the Royal Air Force, where he went on to fly the Tornado GR4 and 13 Squadron at RAF Mali.